Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, the city is the lucky recipient of a unique Honda vehicle. We'll take it to the special delivery.
Then there's a new leader in global car sales, and they have a major presence in Torrance.
Plus, the Year of the Dragon brings a successful celebration to Sunrider International.
And locals honor veterans at the first anniversary of Seaside Heroes Park. These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chun.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. 3 American locations have received a unique Honda vehicle for testing, and Torrance is one of those places. Reporter Jacqueline Quinn has more.
2012 could see gas prices reach $5, making electric vehicles an even more appealing option than ever. Honda is keeping that in mind as they begin a new program to test out battery-powered electric cars in real-world driving conditions, and the city will help provide Honda's test ground.
Even the key is beautiful. I like it.
That's Mayor Frank Scotto with the city's brand new Fit EV. Honda's just delivered the car to Torrance in an effort to generate feedback on its daily driving usage.
Well, I'm extremely excited that the city of Torrance, along with Google and Stanford, are the 3 test places where this Honda is chosen for this car. It's incredible.
Electric vehicles have come a long way, but so has the infrastructure to recharge those cars. Here's how you might find a station if you're inside one of the Fits. So you hit the 240 volt for outside of your destination, and then you sort by distance to travel. And you can see here that the closest station is at Toyota, and that's about less than 2 miles away.
Honda is optimistic that infrastructure for electric cars will change as demand grows.
Everywhere there's electricity, and I think it's just a matter of installing the types of charging stations and making sure that you have enough supply to the locations where the vehicles are being charged.
Meanwhile, Mayor Scotto says Torrance is no easy testing ground. The Fit EV will begin rotating through various departments and used vigorously.
In the city, it's a great proving ground to see what kind of problems you might have with it, or to see, the different usage that you'll have. And let's face it, with having different kind of drivers, I'd say we're probably going to be more abusive with it than a normal driver would be.
Honda's engineers say they've built this car for everyday use and feel confident it can handle the challenge.
In terms of the battery EV, we made this vehicle for the daily commuting or daily shopping or like city driving.
If these tests go as planned, the city is hoping to replace its fleet of gasoline-powered cars with electric ones in the near future. But more importantly, Torrance is trying to set a good example.
I think that people, when they see this car driving around, will say, gee, I want one too.
The Fit EV can travel up to 123 miles before running out of juice. It takes about 3 hours to fully recharge and also has a wall plug in the trunk so drivers aren't stranded. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Jacqueline Quinn.
Thank you, Jacqueline. For more information on the new Honda Fit EV, go to automobiles.honda.com.
After a dark week, Council was back in chambers for their regular meeting.
Deputy Police Chief Michael Brown was honored upon his retirement. Brown worked for the Torrance Police Department for 38 years. A group of local residents were given a special honor at this week's meeting. June Lee, Melissa Wright, Dee Hardison, Kristen Matsuda, and Keith Montoya were all recognized by Council with the Torrance Citizen of the Year Award. Given for the very first time, the award is presented to those who have gone above and beyond what is expected of the average Torrance citizen. June Lee and Melissa Wright were recognized for their efforts in creating the Seaside Heroes Park. Dee Hardison, Kristen Matsuda, and Keith Montoya were honored for their work on the Election and Candidates Ethics Committee. And Janet Payne, a familiar face around town, was honored for her lifetime of commitment to the community. She was surprised with the Jared Sidney Torrance Award for her sustained service to the city. All of these awards were kept top secret until the recent City Council meeting. In the past, the city pledged some of its sales tax revenue to Torrance's redevelopment agency. Now, with the demise of all redevelopment agencies in the state, council passed an adoption to let the state know that any sales tax revenue that remains after obligations to bondholders are paid will go back to the city's general fund. The process for the upcoming Torrance municipal election is now underway. On Tuesday, June 5th, the city will elect 3 city council members for 4-year terms. So City Clerk Sue Herbers announced some important information at this week's council meeting. Election information will also be posted online. Herbers reminded the public that the candidate nomination period begins on February 14th and closes on March 9th. And since Torrance's municipal election is on the same cycle as the county's primary elections, the city is requesting that the county consolidate their primary election with the municipal election. The county has also made some additions to future ballots. Municipal elections must also include ballot translations in Hindi, Khmer, and Thai. Herbers estimates the election will cost $194,000. This does not include the optional candidate statement that would be printed in the ballot. Those statements would cost up to $400 to print and can be up to 200 words in length. The city held a public hearing on the proposed sanitation fee increase. The state requires that cities recycle 50% of green waste. Currently, residents have 96-gallon containers for regular and recycling waste. The proposal suggests residents use a 64-gallon refuse container, keep their 96-gallon recycling container, and add another 96-gallon container for green waste. Standard service for residents would increase by $1.50 per month, considerably less than comparable cities. Rates would not be affected for low-income or low-income senior households. The proposed increase was passed. Residents must call in to request container changes, and the increase would begin on February 1st. And finally, council will be dark on Tuesday, January 31st. They will reconvene on Tuesday, February 7th.
The battle for top global automaker just got interesting, and the current leader has a major presence in Torrance. General Motors has retaken the title of top-selling automaker in the world. Last year, GM sold more than 9 million cars and trucks globally. That's up 7.6% from their sales in 2010, and those numbers mean they have beaten top competitor Toyota, who sold 7.9 million vehicles worldwide. This is quite a turnaround for the American automaker. In 2009, the company filed for bankruptcy protection and was only saved by a government bailout.
A Catholic school recently celebrated 60 years in Torrance with an open house. Parents gathered to support young students at St. Catherine's Catholic School. They took the time to tour the facility and speak with teachers and staff. Classrooms also displayed art and science projects done by the students. And students showed their musical talent with a performance. The Torrance Fire Department also paid a visit to the open house. Firefighters passed out hats while guests enjoyed popcorn and snow cones. And the celebration was complete with face painting. Parents were also able to catch a glimpse of the new technologies the school will use in the future.
There's a new business here in Torrance. The ribbon has officially been cut at an optometry center on PCH, and the atmosphere put everyone in a laid-back mood. Incredible Eye Care opened its doors to welcome residents and city officials. People enjoyed the sounds of a live tropical band, free food, and free raffle prizes. Council members joined Mayor Scotto in a small ceremony presenting Dr. Nolan Ng with a certificate of recognition. Incredible Eye Care was also recognized by the Chamber of Commerce, Assembly Member Betsy Butler, and on behalf of Senator Ted Lieu. For more information, visit IncredibleEyeCare.com.
And speaking of new business, those shots you get at Starbucks may soon have a whole different meaning. We're not talking about tequila, but we are talking about beer and wine. Starbucks said it will soon bring the booze to some of their Southern California coffee houses. And if the experiment goes well, you may see alcohol in all of their stores. The coffee giant is looking to differentiate itself from competitors like Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's. And although they hit a rough patch in 2008, they're now in a solid position. Overall, Starbucks revenue rose last year by more than 9%. They plan to open 800 new locations this year. Coming up, we'll bring you an emotional anniversary celebration at Seaside Heroes Park.
And it's the Year of the Dragon. We'll tell you how one group celebrates this cultural milestone